Here comes the cat. He can't handle it if I'm talking to the camera and he's not involved. There he is. Hi, I make videos about Soviet film and history, and I just wanted to come tell you a little bit about myself. This is my cat Noodle. His favorite thing is to sit on my lap. And my name is Mashka. Yes, I go by Mashka, not Masha, because this is America and I can do whatever I want. I was born in the Soviet Union in 1988, back when it was still the Soviet Union and not Russia. I was born in Moscow. Then the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, and a lot of bad things started happening. So my parents were like, let's get the hell out of here. My grandfather, who was Jewish, had already left in the 80s to Los Angeles. So when the US decided to give Soviet Jews refugee status, my parents applied for that. It took a few years to get permission to come to the United States, and my grandfather had to sponsor us. In 1994, we came to Los Angeles as refugees. I was 5 years old. I had no say in the matter. I remember my parents sitting me down and being like, we're gonna move to America. And I was like, okay. And they were like, you can bring one toy with you. And I was like, ha, no problem. I know exactly which toy. I have my favorite bear. So Russian was my first language, and I learned English when we came to the US. I was 5 years old. I started in kindergarten, and it took about a year for me to be pretty fluent. So fluent, in fact, that I would translate for other Russian kids who would come and didn't know any English. And one of the fun things I can do is speak both English and Russian without an accent. I've been able to do that since I was a kid. Although, of course, at this point, I am much better at speaking English than Russian. I forget a lot of words in Russian because I barely ever use it. I only talk to my mom in Russian. And don't come in here telling me that I have an accent when I speak English, because I don't. Now that you know, you hear something. And there are tons of people in the comments of my videos about Soviet films saying, you're just an American, you have no idea what the Soviet Union was like. They don't hear an accent. So when we came here in the 90s, it was really hard on my parents because they didn't speak a lot of English. But there is a huge community of Russian people in West Hollywood specifically. And so my parents would buy these videotapes of Soviet movies that they watched when they were kids. And so that's what I watched when I was a kid. And that's why I know so much about these Soviet films. I didn't go to film school. I studied photography and theater in college. But honestly, you don't really need to go to film school to work in the film industry. And that's what I do. And I do photography and stand-up comedy. As far as me knowing things about the Soviet Union, my whole family lived there, specifically in Moscow. My mom's family, the Jewish side, is from Lithuania. And then my grandmother was born in Siberia for some reason, and Noodle is from Northbridge.